Hey everybody, happy Thursday afternoon. Got home. Everybody always wants to know like what happens when the bees swarm. How do I catch them? How do I know they swarmed? Where do they come from? Everybody's got a million questions about bees swarming. So I'm going to show y'all what the process looks like. So I got home today probably about 15 minutes ago, and I looked over my yard and I see my bees are sitting in a tree. Some of my bees are sitting in the tree. Let's see if I can flip this camera around. So as you pull up into my driveway, if you look over across the yard, you'll see a dogwood tree right there. And that big lump on the tree limb is the bees. So what we're gonna do now, I went ahead and got everything out. I'm gonna head over there. Let's let you see the beehives. We're gonna head over here and check out what the bees are doing and kind of try to show everybody what the deal is. So I've already got a ladder and I've got a 5-frame box. So it's a small box with 5 bee frames in there. My beehives are right there. So one of those hives, and I don't know which one, I might find out later on today or tomorrow, but one of those beehives decided that it had too many bees. So that many bees decided to leave. So they're all sitting up there in the tree. So people always want to know, one of the things they want to know is, what do I wear? Do I wear like the full bee suit? But no, I usually just wear at most this. It's just a little mosquito net. You can buy it online on Amazon for like $2. This just keeps me from getting stung in the eye, unless I forget to wear it, and then I still get stung in the eye. But anyways, the reason that the bees are sitting up in the tree right here is they are looking for a new home, but they will sit here in this spot until they find a new home. So they just kind of hang out here and they send scouts out, and the scouts go find a place that's suitable for a home for them. So they will just sit here and hang out. So nothing crazy about it. You can touch them and they won't hurt you. So I got bees sitting on my hand right now. They're not mad or angry. Swarming bees doesn't mean that they're angry. It just means that they got too crowded in their hive and they need a new place to live. So I'm sitting right here next to them. If I blow on them, it'd probably make them mad, because there's something about human breath that kind of makes them a little angry. So I'm not just gonna sit here and blow on them. But other than that, they're pretty gentle right now. They have no eggs to protect. They have no honey to guard. They don't have any food sources. So they're basically homeless and looking for a new place to live. So they're not really going to be too territorial, which is typically the reason why they get angry, is just they start getting territorial. I can take the net off of my head. It's not a big deal. I'm not worried about getting stung right now. Once I start messing with them, I'll put it back on. But for the time being, it's not problematic. So I'm going to set the camera down, run down, grab the box, and then I'm going to try to show y'all how I catch the bees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box right here, set the lid down. It has these 5 frames in it. I'll take a few of them out. I'll set that aside just to give the bees some room when I bump the bees and put them in here. And then I'm going to climb up on the ladder, shake the limb until the bees fall into the box, and then I just get down, put the frames in, put the lid on, and set the box down. Nature does the rest. So what you can't see here is I am bumping the tree limb with that box that I'm holding in my hand, causing the bees to fall off of the limb into the box. I thought that the camera would pick that up, but apparently it did not. So I'm just telling you what happened. Just bump the limb with the box. Next thing I'm doing is, remember the 3 frames that we took out of the box? Well, we got to put them back in there. So I'm picking the 3 frames up off the ground and just sliding them gently back into the box while the bees are in there, hoping that all the bees don't escape and run out. So you got to do this part fairly quickly, or the bees will just fly back out and go right back up to the tree limb. So at this point, I may or may not have got the queen. The only time will tell. She may still be up there on that limb because I didn't get all the bees off of there. But they'll start doing this little activity that's called the Nasonov effect, to where they sit at the entrance with their butts in the air and fan their wings, which spreads the pheromone of the queen around. When they start doing that, it spreads the pheromone out and it attracts all the rest of the bees to that spot. And that's how the bees tell each other where the queen is. So the entire bee life, or bee life cycle in the hive, revolves around the queen, because she's the only one that can lay a fertilized egg. The rest of these bees are all females, but none of them have ever been mated with a male bee, so they cannot lay fertilized eggs. These are the bees that are left on the tree limb. Ideally, I would have gotten all of those, but I didn't, so we'll just see what happens. So at this point, it's been a couple of minutes. I don't see the activity that I would like to see that lets me know that the queen is in this box. So what that means is I've probably got to go up there again and try again. I'll probably let them calm down for a minute, because you can make them upset if you work with them too much and really piss them off. So I try not to do that too bad. But I'm not seeing the activity that I want to see. There's a couple of bees fanning at the entrance of the hive, which is where all these bees are. But if the queen were actually in this box, every single bee sitting at that entrance would be doing the exact same thing, and they're not. So I don't think the queen is in here. So I haven't done anything for the past minute or two, but these bees that were sitting up here at the top have all started walking down the box and going into the hive. And they are starting to fan a little bit more as a group. I'm still not convinced there's a queen in there. We'll see, but I'm not convinced yet. We'll know that the queen is in there when the bees that are sitting up here on the limb start flying down to the box. If those bees start flying down here, that's when I'm comfortable knowing that the queen is in the box. So, to reiterate, these bees cannot survive, they cannot reproduce without a queen, because there will be no one to repopulate the hive. So since I'm still not convinced, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this box up on top of this ladder and see if the bees want to leave or stay more. So just pick the box up. And set it right there. And we're going to see where the bees are more likely to come to the hive or leave the hive. This is kind of a weird one because usually in this situation, if the queen is actually in the hive, they flock to it. But I took the lid off and none of them really felt like leaving. Typically, if the queen is still up in the tree, they would have just boiled out of the box. And that didn't happen this time. They are flying all around. And I'm standing in the middle of this with nothing but this net on. So I'm just standing right here in the middle of all this activity with the bees. And not getting stung. Still haven't been stung one single time. At this point, I'm tempted to think that the queen is actually in there because the bees are coming to the box rather than leaving the box. So I think this is a situation where I have caught the queen. I'm still not 100% convinced, but it's leaning more and more that way. All these bees flying around. I don't know how well y'all can see this on the video, but there's a good many of these bees flying around, and they're coming into the box, landing on the entrance. I'll try to zoom in a little bit here, but they're landing on the entrance and then walking into the hive. So this will be their new home for a little bit until I decide to put them in a bigger box. But this is where they'll live for a little while. I won't leave the box sitting here on this ladder. I'll obviously just take it right over there. Y'all can see the rest of the bees, but I'll take it right over there and put him with the rest of them, just because that's where I like to keep them in my yard. It's the best place for me. The bees don't really care. I'm still standing in the middle of all these. I took the net off. I'm probably asking for trouble, but whatever. It's cool. Alrighty. If you look at the hive now, this is the sign that I've been looking for that shows me that the queen is in this hive. If you can see how much all of these bees are fanning and spreading that pheromone around, that is indicative of there being a queen in the hive. A lot more of that activity going on right now. And also, the bees are just flocking to the entrance of the hive itself. So it's getting busier and busier. A lot more traffic, a lot more of the fanning activity. And the bees above me in the tree limb are slowly diminishing. So they're all just coming into this box. So I'm really confident that the queen is in the box right now. And that being the case, you've all just witnessed me catching a swarm of bees in my yard. So it's this time of year. They repopulate at this time of year. There's plenty of food and resources. On a warm, sunny day, you're highly likely to see a swarm of bees if you live near bees. Y'all can probably see better with this camera instead of the front-facing camera. But the bees that are in there are just walking in. Beekeepers like to call this marching in because it kind of looks like a bunch of soldiers marching into their home. Let's back up for a minute and see how many bees are left on the limb. There's still a good many, but I think the majority of them are coming down here and flying into the box. And even if they haven't yet, or even if the queen is not in there yet, if the bees like this box enough to call it home, the queen herself will fly down here and go into this box. They don't have to wait for her to decide. They don't have to wait for her to decide that that's where she wants to live. It's not really up to her. There are other bees out there that get to pick. They just all wait for her, typically. This is full-on Nasonov effect. We'll come back in a few minutes and see how many bees are left in the tree room versus how many are sitting here on the box. And I bet it's going to look drastically different in about 15 minutes. So I got home tonight. I went to a ball game, watched Calvin play. They won. It was good times. Came out here, checked on the bees. It's dark, or almost dark, but there are no bees on the tree branch. So that means that they're all in here. Let's hope we don't get lit up, but we're gonna pop that, take a peek. There they all are. So there's a swarm, caught and ready to go. So tomorrow morning, I will move this hive over to where the rest of the bees are and put a bunch of sticks and branches and stuff in front of the hive to disorient the bees, and that will cause them to reorient themselves to the new location, and from then on they will fly back to that place, and that will be known as their home from now on. So that's catching a swarm.